right, welcome back to another podcast. Wait, how do I usually start?
Welcome back to the Pod Gods.
Oh yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Pod Gods. I don't know why I forgot how we start.
Forgot the name of it.
My name is Jake Luttrell, mortgage broker at Home Finance.
Brady Hall and EXP Realty.
We got a special guest, Holly Baker, who is the
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Round of applause.
There you go.
Thanks. Yeah.
She is the owner of Groom My Friend.
Yes.
Can you explain what that is for everybody?
Yeah. So my husband and I met at a pet store, and after working in a corporate company for 17 years, I decided.
Which pet store?
It was PetSmart.
Shout out
it was PetSmart.
It's our sponsor, actually. Imagine.
Which one?
What's that?
Which one? That's the question.
All of them. I mean, I did a lot for the company.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I opened their Wilmer store with St. Cloud, with St. Louis Park, Coon Rapids.
Yeah,
I worked in Eden Prairie, grooming salons in Eden Prairie, Maple Grove.
Oh, wow.
You name them.
Wow.
I either was in them, helped them. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, should we start from the beginning? Where were you born?
Sure.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
did you do growing up? What was your...
A fast version of that would
Sure.
be, I grew up in Illinois, so that's why I sound a little different.
Okay.
And then I'm from the Chicagoland area, we'll say it like that.
Okay.
Came from a divorced family. So eventually my dad married a wonderful, amazing person from Minnesota. And so we made the commute a lot, and then eventually made the full transition here to Minnesota, and I love it. I'm super outdoorsy, so I was into it. And so I want to say about 16 years old, they were like, really sick of you playing hooky and playing video games at home. You need to get a job if you're going to stay home today.
Hold on. What video games?
Yeah.
All of them, man. At that time, I think I was kind of out of Lara Croft. I did Lara Croft.
Oh, Tomb
I
Raider?
love Oblivions.
Okay.
I like those, God of
Skyrim.
War.
Oh, God of
I'm
War
a
is
huge
great.
Call of Duty fan. I
Okay.
actually, yes, I'm very good at
Rare.
Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I'm very good at Call
When
of
did
Duty.
you-
But
which
I'm
Call
not
of Duty?
super great
Yes.
at Destiny.
What's the best Call of Duty game?
Yeah. This might be
Black
controversial.
Ops. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Black
yeah.
Ops 3 was my
3?
favorite. Yeah, 3 was my favorite.
Two
is great.
Three's
Two
great.
is great.
I
Two
prefer...
is good too, but I think
prefer 3,
was,
but 2 is what everybody...
The OG,
It's like the
like-
normal
I think everybody
answer.
freaked out at 2.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
all right. I mean, I waited in a line till midnight.
Yeah.
I think I released.
That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
It's
Are
really
you
good.
guys... Alex, do you play Call of Duty? Okay,
Oh yeah,
all right.
we play Apex together.
Okay.
So you can see it in our wedding video. We got married,
that's awesome.
playing in our rooms
No,
with each
that's
other,
so
playing
awesome.
Apex. Yeah, we have matching TVs, matching everything, and
Do you-
we
are
play
you-
as a team.
Console players? PC?
We play PlayStation 5.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well,
Cool.
he's 5. We were 4s, and then he was got fancier.
Okay.
And I got busier. so,
Respect.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you have siblings? Do you have...
Yeah, I've got
Okay.
5 siblings.
Wow.
Yeah, I got a big family. So I have half siblings. So my 2 older ones, and then I've got 2 younger ones and 1 in the middle with me.
Okay.
So yeah.
I guess this
Big
is
family.
probably a normal question considering do you have pets?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I was gonna say, if you
I'm
said
at
no,
a
I would've
lower.
walked out.
I'm at a lower number, so that's where it all started. Was I had cats growing up on one side in my divorced family, and then we got a dog when I was 10, and I was always the weirdo. I would bury dragonflies at a campground, and I would find dead flies and be like, "Oh no, there's 2 sticks and a cross," and my dad was like, "You're weird."
Did you pull the legs off Daddy Longlegs?
No, I was
Okay.
always
That's
so
some serial
kind. I was always so
killer
kind to
type
them.
shit.
And then I don't know what happened. I just became weird and was like, no. And now I step on them. But
Yeah.
I think the worst thing is when I was working at a PetSmart, one of my people came to my office and she's like, the tarantula got out. And I was like, no. Oh my gosh.
Are you afraid of
I will
spiders?
be in here. You sort that out.
Yeah, hell no.
I was at Top Golf on Saturday night, and there's 3 TVs in the top TV. There had to be a black widow. I mean, about the size of a golf ball. And we're like, how are we going to get that down? And I hit it with the golf club to hit it down.
Yeah.
And we couldn't find it. And it was right in front of my face. It was still in the web.
I didn't even know we had
freaking
black
out.
widows here.
I was
my
I
terrified.
would be scared. No. I
Every
don't-
big spider's a black widow.
And it was
I didn't even know we had snakes until I moved to Big Lake. And then I saw a big 8-foot bull snake. And then we were kayaking. And now I didn't even know that the damn things swim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was we were kayaking the other day and I was like, what the hell I thought it was a turtle. And here it's slithering around. I'm like, oh my gosh.
That's
oh.
hilarious.
So that microphone stand,
Yeah.
there was a snake wrapping around that microphone
Yeah,
stand
we had
not
a-
even a month ago.
Here?
Yeah.
Here.
You
guys realize I'm really uncomfortable now.
we had a guest on who was like the reptile realtor.
Yeah.
Or was. She
reptile realtor.
changed careers. But
Yeah.
and so she brought in her snake and
She brought it. It was like a 6-foot python. Or something. It was just wild.
I thought I wasn't afraid of snakes until.
I think the best thing I ever heard was it's called the nope rope.
Yeah, we kept saying that.
I'm like, nope.
The nope rope.
Nope.
That's hilarious.
What river do you guys go kayaking on?
Okay, so river, I do the Mississippi.
Okay.
But this was Ann Lake. We went
Okay.
over to Ann Lake, which is right in, I think, isn't that technically Little Rock?
Yeah.
I think so. It's not Zimmerman yet,
That's
right?
that's kind of
like on the
where my
brink.
parents live, is like right by. They live like right in between Eagle, Birch, and Ann. It's like
So
a
good.
mile from all
And
of
there's
them.
so much nature. Like, coming from Illinois where there's no nature and it's all concrete.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, most of it is. It really is.
it's not
There's
like-
certain parks and like park reserves and stuff, but that's about it. It's mostly concrete.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the Canoeing?
I have heard of it.
It's kayaking. There is go. Do you guys
Okay.
both kayak? Yeah, the Kenny.
Yeah. Alex is like, I will
Fraud?
go.
Is he not?
Yeah, I mean, he's like, I will go.
Yeah, he'll tolerate it. The Kenny Canick though. Yeah,
He likes canoeing better.
Canoeing's fine. Yeah,
I am
canoeing. Yeah.
I like to be in control of my own boat.
You what?
Canoeing. My parents, we used to live on the Elk River, and me and my dad were going canoeing.
Yeah.
And like it was like a 30-foot drop down to the river, so we were slowly getting the canoe down. We had it tied up to a 4-wheeler.
I'm, like, scared
And
of
we're
this story.
slowly bringing it back down, and the rope broke. So my dad just sprints down the river, jumps in the river after the canoe, gets the canoe, cuts his shin open, gets a huge staph infection, was in the hospital for like a week, and he's still missing like part of his bones.
What?
So canoeing, I'm just not a fan.
that's not a
Throw me in a
normal-
kayak all day.
That's not a normal canoe like story that would. That was
You
the
think
one.
my life is normal, Jake?
Yeah.
Okay, so sorry. How many animals do you own right now? Did you say? I think I interrupted you.
Can I plead the fifth?
What? Yeah. Is it?
We have 5 dogs, a
Okay.
rented dog, which I like. You
Like
can do that in
foster-
grooming. No,
Okay.
it's not
Oh,
fostering.
okay.
I'm renting him.
Okay.
So I have to take care of him for competition. So we kind of rotate pets, and then we just have we're down to just fish and cats, right? And one chicken. One chicken.
One
we want to
chicken?
get chicken. Is it for the eggs or just to have?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And then we had owl attacks, fox attacks.
Oh my god.
We have bears. We have black bears in that area, so they like to trash my bird feeders and
Yeah.
So we get a lot of predators out there. So we're down to one chicken.
Okay.
Her name's Destroyer. It's the only one
Destroyer.
Alex named.
Yeah.
And it's named
That's
Destroyer.
sick.
So Destroyer's she's the jam, but yeah.
Love it. Okay, so I saw you were a veterinarian also.
I
Or
went to school to be a
or-
vet tech. Yeah,
Okay.
so I worked as a nurse assistant for 4 years at, it's called Banfield, but at the time, like it's actually was privately owned by one person. So it was
Okay.
pet health professionals, but like on the outside of the building it said Banfield. And then eventually it's sold to a Banfield, so.
So did
It's a
that
little
was that an easy transition from, like, what made you want
So I
to?
started at PetSmart when I was 16 as a bather.
Yeah.
Well, as a cashier and a bather. And so, because I knew I wanted to work with pets.
Okay.
Like, I was hoping to work with pets. Maybe I didn't want to work in food really bad. My mom was like, get out of the house and get a job, and then you can come back and play the rest of your video games. And I was like, deal.
Okay.
And they were
Sounds
doing
familiar.
like, every Tuesday they did interviews. So then they were like, I got an interview so I could come home. And I was like,
Yeah.
And then they actually were like, no, seriously, you'd be good at this. And I was like, okay.
Sweet.
So I did grooming, and then in high school, I started going to school to be a vet tech in
Sweet.
high school. So then by the time I was like 18, I ended up becoming a full-fledged groomer and did both jobs for 4 years. So, because being a vet tech, like you do like 12-hour days, but it's like if your doctor decides that we're going longer, sometimes our surgeries aren't till midnight.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd have like 4 days there and then 2 days of grooming. So it was kind
Jeez.
but they do absolutely go hand in hand, which is where our company kind of was birthed from. And why I think it's kind of taking off is because we kind of marry like hippie holistic with science.
Yeah.
And then we kind of bring it all together for a good, clear understanding. And like the products that we put out on the dogs, like our clients are seeing those results, you know?
Sweet.
So it's like the doodles that get super matted, not after, and we've seen them 2 or 3 times, like they don't stop matting, but it's a lot
better.
better.
Do you do, because I've seen so many, there was one night where it was almost like ASMR watching pets get groomed on YouTube, where I was like, this
You'll
is so
fall into a
oddly,
hole.
it's
Yeah,
oddly
you
satisfying.
watch us groom. I watch people groom.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can get into it. Now, I'm different. So I do something called creative grooming, and I am the only current, and there's one person that I'm not sure which state she technically is in, Wisconsin or Minnesota. I think she lives in Wisconsin, maybe works in Minnesota.
Okay.
But
we won't
as
mention
of
her.
right now, I'm the only competitive creative groomer. So I actually take dog hair and I cut it and dye it and sculpt it and create storylines on dogs. So I'm carrying the Norse mythology design. So I've had 4 competitions where I've placed every competition this year, and then I have 3 more to go. Yeah, it's a really
That's
big
impressive.
deal. It's
Yeah.
the first time I've ever made. They take 10 or 12 of us to Hershey, Pennsylvania, and I'm one of the people that got in this year, and it is the largest grooming show in the entire U.S.
Damn.
Like they had Chris Kirkpatrick from Instinct there last year.
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
like celebs go, and it's like a whole thing.
I
Yeah,
had
they do
never
like an
even-
award night, and
So it's
a big
not
deal.
just cutting hair; it's like an artistic thing.
No,
like
it's
I saw David
100% art. Like I have made Lisa Frank dogs, giraffe dogs, zebra dogs. I made garden gnomes. I put garden gnomes on a dog. I put
Let's
a whole
go.
rainbow and clouds, and for this little girl. And yeah, I mean, I paint dogs, and I do airbrushing and all. Like, it's intense.
What's
Yeah.
like the worst dog to work with?
Like breed?
Yes.
That's that. What do you? Oh, Chow. Yeah, I would say Chow.
Chow? What is a
Yeah,
chow?
even
I'm
is that?
biased, but yeah, Chows 90% of the time they're very loyal to their owner and
Is
only
it like
to
a
their
little
owner.
ankle biter?
No,
No?
they're huge,
They're
and
huge?
intimidating, and they are guardians of like. So they're an Asian dog that is
Oh, I
known
know
for
what you're
protecting.
talking
They're
about.
big, and they've
Yes.
got the fluffy ears. They look
Yeah.
so cute, and they got those blue tongues,
Pull that
but
up
they
right
are
now.
I'm
mean
pulling it
as
up.
the dickens, man.
Chow
Ooh.
dog.
Have you
And
got-
their coat's hard to work with, and they hate being brushed. It's like a recipe
I
for
thought
just.
something else.
God bless
Oh,
every chow
yeah.
owner out there. If you're,
Yeah, that
if you're
is just
hearing me, but yeah, I mean
big
they
face.
look beautiful.
Yeah, they're very
Yeah.
pretty.
and they will eat you. You will die.
What are your thoughts
That is the
on
one
like?
breed that I'm like, hell no. Somebody asked
vicious?
me, I'm like, absolutely no. No, I'm not
Yeah.
doing it. They're mean as hell.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
What are your thoughts on like pugs? Like, are they
I
called
love pugs.
designer?
I owned a pug.
Did you?
So I did, and then we moved into a Frenchie because we're like, we like a pug, but maybe with more energy. So we
Yeah.
thought a Frenchie. They are so different.
Really?
Yeah, they really
I always
are.
feel bad for the pugs because they always have like sinus issues.
Yeah. I
know.
And
I sleep well with it. That's why I have him now. He snores instead.
it's
but-
like a fan, like white
it's
noise.
just
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. Okay, so
I was looking at
Yeah, go
all
ahead.
the like photos on your Facebook
Yeah.
and like your TikTok and stuff, and I was
Yes.
sitting next to, I guess, my girlfriend. I guess. Well,
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
But
What
whatever.
breaking. Hold on. Hold on.
You consult her.
But we're
Does
sitting
she
there
know?
and we're like going through them all, and she's like, "Holy shit, this is freaking amazing!" Like,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
so cool. Like
Yeah, the
we saw the
TikToks are-
giraffe one,
Yeah.
and I was like, "That is freaking
It's crazy,
amazing!"
right?
Like it looks
Yeah,
so cool.
The creative is my favorite part of my job, right? Like that's because what was it? I was talking to somebody. I was in Houston competing last weekend, not this last
Damn.
weekend because I was in Chicago last weekend, but like the weekend before that, I was in Houston because I went to Ed Sheeran.
Shout out
Such a
Ed. We
good
know you're
show.
watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tag you, Ed Sheeran.
I've only heard good things about his shows too.
Oh my gosh, it was
Yeah.
so good. And
Does he
I've
just
like
stand
I've
up
seen
there?
some crazy stuff like Linkin Park and
Yeah.
some
Oh, that would've been
phenomenal. It was entertaining.
I
And
heard
it was
he, like-
so engaging in the crowd. But like things that I like is I like to feel it.
Yeah.
And then the lights, like if you have any type of seizure, whatever, you should not go to that show. But
Ed Sheeran?
Yeah. Yeah, like
Really?
he has
That's
so
wild. I feel like
much,
that's some, like,
and his
EDM.
rock, like he really rocked the rock, and because he's coming here next weekend. Because I'm in
Okay.
Chicago competing again, but like he'll be here next weekend. If you have the chance to go. Like so
we
good,
should
you
go.
guys.
I like Ed Sheeran.
So good.
But I've never been like
Huge
oh.
fireworks, pyrotechnics,
Wow.
flames.
Really?
Oh my goodness! It
I
was
just
so
imagine
good.
him at like a
So
big
good.
coffee shop with his acoustic guitar.
No, he really gets into the guitar and he
Yeah.
switches it out like every time. So he's got like acoustic, electric.
Oh, that's
and then
cool.
he does have some because he loops his own music. So
Yeah.
every show
So
you go
good.
to
Is
is
different.
totally different
Yeah.
from the next. And I mean the song is the same, right? So it's probably like memorized for him and like, second nature.
The first
But-
song I heard of him was "You Need Me, I Don't Need You." Have you heard that?
So, yeah.
And it was a live version on a radio show, and he looped like all this stuff.
So
I was like, this is
talented.
fucking nuts.
He's
Yeah,
so
it's crazy.
talented.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And, so like what makes the concert unique too is like you hear that looping. And so like it builds your energy for it, and then you're like, yeah, let's do it, man. I love
That's
this.
awesome.
It's so good.
It's so sweet.
Go ahead. You had a line of questions. I feel like I'm taking them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me hear them.
Or should we
So
pull
like,
them out?
Fire off.
yeah, no, I gotta pull them out. I had them.
Like 50.
I still have them. What am I talking about? So like grooming dogs.
Yeah.
How hard or how easy is it?
Well, it's not a fair question. So I have been grooming now 19 years.
Yeah.
So next year, March will mark 20 years as a groomer for me.
That's awesome.
Thanks. And so making a dog look like a dog isn't that hard,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But when you're a new groomer, so I teach grooming.
Okay.
I teach it. So in that respect, it's a lot of confidence problems, right? Because there's this level of I need to have a perfect groom. Well, there's a distinction when you're learning grooming, right? Like they say, like at a PetSmart, for example, they say that it's 800 hours to become a groomer with them, which is totally true. They do have an awesome training program.
Yeah.
And if you go to we have one school in all of Minnesota. Shout out to Rio Grooming.
Shout out.
Yeah, in Hastings, but and they're a great school too. But it's hard because it depends on where you want to go with it, right? Like pet grooming, yeah, sure. Like there's people that buy a clipper at a store and then they start grooming themselves and your dog's looking like shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you can have a shitty looking dog. Like,
Yeah.
good job. Yay. But if you want to be a professional about it, I don't know. It's just hard because you get stuck with an idea in your head. I was just talking to one of my groomers at Elk River. She's one of the managers, and Jenna was like, she grooms so different. She has been grooming almost 10 years. We could not groom more different from each other.
Really? What do you mean by
She
that?
has like a very sharp, clean look on her Bernedoodles. She did Bernedoodle today, and so did I. And they could not look more different. So it depends on the equipment that we're using or techniques. So hers, when you look at it, has like short, very clean lines. And then mine is like that puppy cut, right? So I'm known for more of the looser curls and that scrunchy curly look like a puppy. So we just carry a different vibe. I don't enjoy being forced to groom like that.
Yeah.
So when a new groomer's in that position, it takes 3 years for you to be in your own skin as a groomer, because there's pet grooming and then there's show grooming and then there's competing in grooming for AKC. You can show a dog, but you can also compete in the grooming aspect of it. So there's
And
kind of
that's not
three major parts of grooming.
That's
It's
not
different.
the artistic version. That's just
No,
literally
that's its
the
own.
haircut. Okay.
Yeah, the creative side is its own entity, because that one has a couple different approaches too, creative. I compete in something called abstract and creative. So abstract is I'm taking a beautiful standard poodle that I have, and I will be on stage in Las Vegas in next week I'm in Chicago, the following week. Alex and I will be in Vegas, and I have to do it in front of everybody on stage. At Mandalay Bay.
Mandolin Bay.
You'll love it.
Damn.
I already
You'll
screwed
love
this
it.
up.
It's like
Are you
blast
nervous?
there.
No, I don't. How do you say it?
Mandalay Bay.
Mandalay?
Mandalay. Have you never been to Vegas? Come on.
Heard of that?
I've only-
I was just in Vegas last year, but
I went to Vegas for a really quick one night because my friend was like, I eloped. And I was like, fantastic, I'll be there. Okay.
count me in.
Yeah, she got anxiety. She's like, I'm not
hangover.
doing this.
Yeah.
We're going to Vegas. But yeah.
So what do you enjoy about it though? I'm trying to. Is it just the creative aspect?
So as somebody with ADHD,
Yeah.
I like that you can change constantly.
Sure.
I don't like keeping things the same. And pet grooming, unfortunately, there's a lot of burnout in our industry because it's the same thing. It's lately, it's not shocking to me if you say that you want a number 3 or a half inch and a round face trim tail.
Like the standard.
It's my bread and butter.
Yeah.
It pays the bills. But what makes it does, it pays the bills. But
bread and butter. I love
yeah,
that.
it's just, there's a certain point to where that becomes really boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are always like, oh my goodness, it'd be so great to work with puppies all day. I'm healing from a really nasty bite because somebody, one of the issues that we have here in Minnesota is that they go get these dogs from the South and then they bring them up and they have these crazy backstories. And then we have phenomenal pet trainers here in Minnesota, but people don't always take advantage of those. And so the groomer gets them and then they're not trained and they have triggers. And that's really where I think clients want to know where you're at in your, because I mean, our lanes are crazy. You can specialize in anxiety. You can specialize in skin and coat restoration, allergies, whatever. You can do massage. Like I do massage. I'm certified. I have massage certificate. You can do all sorts of
animals.
Yeah. So
is it
for
just
me,
dogs?
I can do compression or different techniques to either reduce anxiety or inflammation. I even have like icy hot shampoo to actually relieve muscle tension. So when I get my hunting dogs in the next month or two, they'll have these more massaging like baths to help relieve inflammation in their, because they're working really hard.
Oh yeah.
They've got usually food supplements, all kinds of stuff. So we do a lot of that surface level stuff to care for the pet because we see them a whole lot more than a vet does, right?
Yeah.
So like in the clinic atmosphere, where 90% of the time people are avoiding the clinic now. And so then they talk to the groomer like, well, you're a vet. No, we're not. But I mean, so we have to be more armed with a lot more education than we ever have in our careers.
Yeah.
Just because, especially after COVID.
What about cats though?
Yeah, so I have a cat salon just dedicated to cats.
Okay.
And exotics. So I do bearded dragons, birds, guinea pigs.
Oh, wow.
All of it. Yeah. So cats are a whole different beast. And most groomers, it's really hard to find. Like I'm one of the only cat groomers in a huge radius. But there's people who can do a cat, and then there's cat groomers.
Is it for the cats that don't shed? Just for those?
No, all cats need it.
Okay.
All cats need it. And that's such a huge my biggest D-sheds that people see online, like I get these huge fur piles. It's actually from short hairs.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And the craziest feedback I got right when I opened the cat salon was Alex does, my husband does them too, but our feedback is just always that they're more outgoing. I had one cat that was actually peeing outside the box and stopped peeing outside the box.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was just crazy because it helps them with just their emotional. Cats are very prideful creatures, unlike a dog. Dog doesn't really care that much how it looks, but a cat loves being well groomed.
Yeah,
loves it. So many good things.
A guy gets his hair cut and he feels like 10 pounds more confident leaving the barber.
Right? I think everybody feels good when you get a bath, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you're clean and you feel good. And, in this case, they're getting their feet done and they're getting every part of them massaged. And so it's all good stuff.
So when you're doing the cats though, I have a cat, so I'm just curious.
Ask away.
Are you actually cutting the cat's hair? Or are you just
on a short hair, I would prefer not to do that unless it's a medical reason.
Yeah.
I've gotten that asked a lot. I don't prefer that just because it's not scientifically, it's not a good idea to do that. It can be more harmful.
Right.
Cats in general, it's not ideal to shave them, but sometimes it's needed.
Because it's like a body temperature thing, right?
They're like a double-coated dog. So people usually associate it with that. That's probably a good way to look at it. But sometimes there's chronic hairballs, and sometimes you get these little old ladies with these cats that have longer hair, and then they arthritically can't care for them, and then they're on restricted income.
Yeah.
So the healthiest thing for that cat, and it's better than them being outside or on the street.
True. Yeah.
So it's you got to pick your battle with that, and people really slander a lot of people online about that kind of stuff. And it sucks. So.
Yeah, we have my parents have 5 stray cats right now. They just keep showing up. And my mom keeps feeding them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't want them, then don't feed them. They're so
giving
cute.
them access to food.
Super feral.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
I do line cuts and dinosaur cuts, and that I actually do creative for cats too. And that's
really
fun. Yes. So we do hair color. Yeah. I made a pickle cat look like a pickle.
Or Pickle Rick.
Yes, it was after Pickle Rick.
Really?
Yes.
That's awesome.
So, and the cat's name's Pickle, so we made it green and
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So I've been seeing a trend on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok, but same thing.
I'm just starting into Instagram. I've been so terrible about Instagram.
I mean, I technically am, but I don't scroll. I only Instagram Reels because I see everything that's been on TikTok a week after it's been on there, and then I watch on Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
You get it eventually.
I've been watching a lot, not watching, but I'm seeing a lot of chiropractors doing chiropractic work on dogs and animals.
Yes, so good.
Good.
Yes,
okay.
So good. I'm so supportive of it.
Yeah.
I had to refer one of my clients this fall. Or I guess it was kind of the winter. And I could tell he was just really stiff. And I can feel that because, I'm more attentive to it as an older groomer. Where some of the newer groomers maybe don't know that, but I'll pick up a leg and I can feel issues. So we work a lot with referring out. Like, hey, I saw this, I felt this doesn't feel right. The way your dog is standing isn't now, like, because I understand how they're supposed to, it's called stacking, the way that the dog should be presented on the table. If they don't look aligned, I can physically see it. And so I will refer them out. But this lady who had this older dog just was really kind of short-tempered, literally took him to the chiropractor, and the next time we groomed him, totally different dog. A little more energetic than I'd like, but he fixed it too good. But no, dude, it's so good. And it's not that expensive. Like, the ones in our area, I think, like, your first visit at a chiro is like $150-ish, and then, like, your follow-up visits are $50, and I'm sure that is different, per chiropractor, but it's not that expensive to have it done. So
I know when I see it and they're cracking the dog's head, I'm like, oh fuck, dude, that dog's
so
dead.
weird.
That dog's dead for sure.
I get weirded out watching the human stuff, but I love watching. Horses are my favorite to watch adjustments on. They pick up the whole leg and they're like, there's so satisfying.
There's like
I watch horse ones.
Not chiropractor, but like where they're this guy goes around and he helps like cows and horses with their
hooves.
And like cleans them out.
Farriers, farriers dope.
That's oddly satisfying.
Yes, it is.
Especially when they get infected and like,
oh
god,
it's weird, but like
it's disgustingly
awesome.
It's
crazy.
You're not like, I probably shouldn't like watching this, but I do. It's pretty super awesome.
You do a lot of pets and animals.
Yeah.
Do you do human? Do you cut human hair?
Sounds so weird to say.
I know, right?
So the girls, it's so funny. Did you see that on my TikTok? I did post a couple of humans on there, but
I think so. And I was like, wait, she does do humans.
Yeah.
I posted some.
So I know I shouldn't, right? You're supposed to have a license for that. So guilty right now.
We got her.
Bring them in.
So one of the groomers, I've done it like at almost every store I've been at. But Alex over there, he's groomed by me, including his beard. But I did. One of the groomers was like, "Oh, I'm so hot." She had the thickest freaking hair, and then in the back, I shaved the back of it, and then I put like a star design she picked out from Instagram or Pinterest. I think it was Pinterest, and I picked out. So she did that, and I did red, white, and blue, and I dyed it with dog color because I work with Pet Safe colors, so they're not meant for humans. So I had to like blow dry her hair to like create heat. It was so silly, but
that's cool.
Yeah.
So you have a brick and mortar, like
4 of them.
4 of them.
Yes, 4 of them.
Okay, and you have 1 cat one.
Yes.
And the rest are dogs?
Dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. And then
I do cats at one of the Elk River Salon. I do dogs and cats at that one.
Okay, so Elk River, where are the other ones?
2 in Big Lake, 1 dog, 1 cat in Big Lake. And then we just opened in April in Becker.
Okay.
Downtown Becker.
How's business been? I know that's such a generic question, but like is it just referral? People are like, oh, you gotta try. I mean, your advertisement pretty much is like, is most of it just regular grooming and cutting and then?
No, so it's a funny story. So we opened April of 21. So we were still in masks at that time. That was
your first?
Yeah.
So it was like 1 year after COVID.
Yeah.
Since COVID hit. Yeah.
Yep. So we were still masked up at the time. Yeah. And so we had to like develop a space that we could be 6 feet apart and open during all of that still. Because it was like shortly after that we were able to unmask. But so it was really good. Alex and I had decided to build our own place because we have 2 children. And, I love to coach. I coach 3 different sports. And
what sports?
I coach lacrosse, baseball, and hockey. And and I play hockey. Yeah. Dude, I'm like next level busy.
I have 1 kid and I'm like, I just don't know where I can find the time.
I do 3 board of directors and then I volunteer at my church and then I've got all of that mess. So it's
I wanted to talk about that.
It's crazy.
I saw on your Facebook you mentioned something about God. How important is it spiritually for you and your church?
Number 1.
Number 1. Okay.
God's number 1 in my life. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. It's hard to navigate in today's atmosphere, right? Like, and that was my experience at my corporate job. It was like I brought it up one time and I was immediately disciplined.
What?
So so I lived in, that was actually the premises of this. I did something called Alpha, which is anybody who's curious about their faith, it like hits every big topic.
Yeah.
Like, does God exist? Like
everybody has that question.
Why do people suffer? Like it's all of those really hard questions. It's a universal course that you can use no matter what denomination you are. like it just hits on, is God here? Who's Jesus? What was that all about?
Yeah.
And so it started in Europe and the UK. This guy created this program back in probably, I'm guessing the 70s or 80s or 90s. But, and they have a new course for it. And we took this course and it was like, it just spoke to everything. After I separated from my PetSmart, I was kind of like, okay, so what does my life look like now? I've done that for 17 years. And I was like, I really was passionate about grooming. And Alex and I both wanted to have a pet store at some point. And we took that course and it was just like God completely intervened. His mom, today is 3 years since Alex's mother passed away. And
Jeez, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it sucks. And so we were like, and that was only a couple months after that we decided to go on this journey. And my life kind of spun out right after she died, because it was like eye-opening, and you're like, holy shit, like life is super short.
Yeah.
And then we didn't know where to put all that anger and that frustration. And so we had these big questions like, why are we suffering? Why do kids suffer? Why did these bad shit happen constantly? Why are we going through this huge, nasty, a pandemic? And so that's where the birth of Groom My Friend came from, was it just hit us in a really deep way where we're like, we sat down and Alex's dad, there was an inheritance there and the money was there, and I was working kind of under the table as a groomer. And I was like, you know what? Creative grooming was something I always wanted to do and touch on, but I was always paid to like pump out those pet grooms and then coach 18 different grooming salons on how to pump out dogs and build their salons and build all of that. And I just wanted to be more genuine and take all of my medical knowledge and then birth that with my hippie lifestyle. Like, I like natural things too.
Yeah.
But I think there's the happy mediums in the middle. So we were like, you know what? We spit names, and literally over the course of a weekend, it was like Friday, the girl I was working on the table for was like, you need to own your own grooming salon. And it was all right with Alpha. So we had this group that was like, every week was like, so what's happening now? So what's happening now? So what's happening now? So we had this huge faith support. And it was just like every obstacle, God was like, forget it. I'm going to remove it. It was crazy. He would just remove it immediately. It was unbelievable, the experience that I went through, and I've never felt closer to God in my entire life. And then Saturday, the money came. Then Sunday, the space came. We went to Chow restaurant, which is out in Elk River. Yeah. We went and ate, and we're like, are we really going to do this? We're like, yeah, we're really going to do this. This is crazy. Holy shit, we're going to open a grooming salon. We're going to do this. Yeah. And so it was just going to be Alex and I. And then, we're like, I'm too cheap to order drinks out. So we're like, let's go to the liquor store and make some really good drinks.
Yeah.
So then we went to the liquor store, and the person working there, she passed now. It sucks. But, Lisa looked at me. She was like, are you Holly Baker? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I saw you on Facebook asking if there's any places in Big Lake to open a salon. I have a building. What? Would you want to come tomorrow?
No way.
So this was Friday. We make the decision. Saturday morning, the money comes. Sunday, we get into the space, and it was the chills, man. It was like, this is it. I feel it. I feel it in my gut. So then it all started. And in 30 days, we opened Groom My Friend. Because her husband ended up being a construction person, and was like able to patch the whole place, build the walls. So I designed the walls, designed the menu. Because I was like, I do a lot with coat restoration allergies, because it's, again, that's science-based. Like, your groomer can actually help the skin stuff. And so it was just like every barrier, God just kept removing it, and it's exploded. I mean, I have 4 salons in 2 years.
Literally goosebumps.
It's crazy. And we have 15 employees, 15 full-time employees.
That's amazing.
It's insane. It's insane, and it's totally God-led. So it's awesome.
I know me and Jake have been through some tough times, and you know, something that we went to was religion. And we've never been like super religious in our past, but like last year and a half, like that's really helped me personally get through some of my tough times. I mean, I dropped out of college, full ride for golf, and I dropped out to get into real estate. Scariest time in my life.
Oh yeah,
that's some faith.
Yeah,
during a hard time too.
Tough market. Now like super successful, like great people I know, and
path,
it really is. So that's
really cool.
Yeah,
this year is just another God-led year, because it's like I literally competed once in 21, And then I competed with a Yorkie, which I probably look super stupid doing because you really have to have a standard poodle because it was 10 hours worth of work and that was 40.
Is a Yorkie a smaller version?
No.
What's a
That's
Yorkie?
a miniature poodle. A Yorkshire Terrier is...
Look it up.
I
There's
don't
so
even know how
many
to describe
dog
it.
breeds.
Yeah.
that
They're
are just
really
small,
little. She's
right?
7 pounds.
Just a little yipper.
Yeah. Well, she's not that yippy, but yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure they can be.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's an asshole.
She owns the roost, man.
Wait,
Yeah.
so, okay, kind of a side note. What,
Yeah.
okay, you have a lot of pets. I'll just say a
Yes,
lot of
yeah.
pets. What are all their names? You have Destroyer, which I love.
We haven't named the goldfish.
That's the chicken.
What?
right?
We have
Just name it Goldie. That's like the normal.
Throw out some paper.
Okay. Alex comes up with good names. We had an eel
Yeah.
once.
We should have a
I
little
did have
like.
an eel once named Missy Elliott.
Miss
Like,
Elliott?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
Missy
love when
Elliott?
people. Yeah.
Okay.
Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love when people do that to their dog names. So we have Eleanor's the oldest. So Eleanor, and then she's our Coonhound Lab mix.
Okay.
Yep. She's got a little bit of
Naming all
Sharpei.
these, I'm
She has a
like, I have
little
no
Sharpei
idea.
in her. We
Okay.
actually got her the day before COVID exploded.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. So she's my COVID dog. And then we got Putty because I can't put bows in that dog's hair. So I was like, I'll have Puddle and then I can maybe compete in Texas.
Yeah.
Texas was actually the one I wanted to do because I was like, hey, that looks fun. I could do that with a Yorkie. I'm an idiot, but whatever. I thought I was smart at the time. And then I competed with her in 21 because I'd seen the show Well Groomed. It's on HBO? ABC.
Well groomed.
Are we talking about Pooch Perfect?
Which part was ABC? Well groomed.
Well Groomed, I think, was HBO. So you can watch it on HBO, but so I know those people now that are all featured in that show.
It's amazing.
Quit bragging.
Yeah.
Well, I just,
I'm just kidding.
Celebrity
they're
status.
amazing people. And I was just really moved at what they did, and they showed off how they did things at Hershey and how they worked super hard to get to Hershey was the big kind of angle
The end
of the
goal of-
show.
yeah.
Yeah, and how they put up with hate, because I get plenty of trolls.
What?
Oh my goodness, yes. I get tons
What
of
do they- what's like their-
why would you do that? I had a guy actually come into my salon, and that's the one place I don't expect it.
Yeah.
I don't expect you to come in. His wife decided to make her, I don't want to rat her out. I'm not going to say what animal it was.
Okay.
But it was the husband had come in and was like, why would you do that to dogs? And I was like, well, I don't know, because they pay me $200 to do it.
Yeah. Because it pays the bills.
I mean, because it's fun. It's a good time. And, and they're like, I just constantly get that, though. We walked in parades this year. And, wow, yes, that's animal cruelty. That's
my
mean.
gosh.
I'm like, please tell me that this is a joke. What does a dog love more than anything else?
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. They want you to come up and pet them. And I'm sorry if you have a fugly looking Yorkie cross mix, but I will make them not look fugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will make them look cute.
Yeah.
And I will do a rainbow and I will carve things and I will do fun shit to your dog. But I'm going to take a board. That's actually where some of this big Instagram followers came from, was they would take these dogs that have been sitting in a humane society for whatever, a month,
Breaks
a couple
my heart.
months.
Yeah.
Well, but then they would throw color on it and the dog would get adopted right away. So funking up the dog brings them attention. So my dog loves that shit.
Yeah.
Sometimes she runs
Which
right
dog-
to the table.
Who
and she's
doesn't like it though? That's the other thing, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves a little bit of attention here and there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is I always have to have an actual serious conversation with my clients about color when they do full body color. You are going to be stopped. You
Yeah.
will have people taking pictures of you when you're not aware. Because
Yeah.
people will not ask me for permission. I will have people photographing me or videoing me. Every truck stop I go to on the way to these, it looks it's 20 hours for these drives.
Yeah.
I had to do 20 to Houston. It's only 7 to Chicago, but 6, 7. And then, it's 25 out to Vegas. And I just get stopped.
Oh, yeah.
People see her up in the front seat, my standard
Good.
poodle. Because she's fully corded, so she looks like she has dreadlocks.
Okay.
So,
Oh, yeah.
so it's really silly looking,
Those
to
small
somebody who's
towns, it's that's an alien.
Yeah.
That is an alien on 4 legs. There's
the looks I get. And so
Yeah.
usually people keep their mouths shut, at least here in Minnesota.
Minnesota nice.
I would never go to a groomer who dies a dog. And I'm like, well, I don't need
don't
you.
have to.
We're doing okay. I'm doing fine.
So you brought your wonderful husband, Alex. Talk about how you guys met at a PetSmart.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? 2013.
10 years. This fall, it'll be 10 years. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Impressive.
How how has that been? Have you've always been an animal person? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He's saying yes to those who can't.
Yeah.
He's saying
Yeah.
How has that been? The support of your husband?
Well, he grooms too now.
Okay. Awesome.
He said he was laughing.
being
He's like, when he
modest.
first started, he was like, all these groomers. I'm never going to be with a groomer.
Scissors. Like, I'll bathe dogs.
Yeah.
I'll brush out cats.
Yeah.
Brush them, yeah.
There you go.
So he's great. Working full time was a bit of an adjustment because we had worked together. Like he came to certify with me, and I was like, "You're hot." But then so life fell into place 3 years after knowing each other, and then we started the relationship, and then we were like, just kidding, 3 months in, we're gonna have a baby.
Wait. Hold on. Before we get there, so. Did you guys hit it off right away? Or was it just you did?
instant.
Okay.
So
there you go, Alex.
This is kind
All right.
of
Love
I don't
at
know how
first
much you want to
sight?
get into that story. It's a little bit of a long story. I'm not embarrassed about it.
No.
But I was married.
Okay.
Oh,
And
no judgment here.
I prayed that whole way home. I was like, God, is this? I feel like I married the wrong person, and it was really heavy. So Alex was like, come on over, come hang out with me, because he's from South Dakota. He's actually from he's from the
dog.
I know he is from the Black Hills, so he rarely was in Minnesota, but
Yeah.
he would be like, you want to hang out? And I was like, no, I'm gonna be I'm gonna honor my husband.
Yeah.
And then our marriage fell apart. We were junior high sweethearts, so we'd been together a long time.
Yeah.
And it was just one of those things where we're like, what are we doing? We want two different things. I'll just wrap it up like that. And so when I split, it was literally the day after. I was like, so Alex, what are you up to? And then 3 months later, we decided to move in. And a week after moving in, I went to meet his parents and then found out we were pregnant. And I was like, well,
Boy,
that's
girl?
life happening.
Was it
We have two boys.
Two boys? Twins?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wish.
What are their names? I have a
Lewis
boy.
and Leo.
Lewis. Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah,
like
Lewis
the name
is
Leo.
now, he's 6.5.
Yeah.
I got to say half.
Right, of course.
6.5.
You'll see that
and
saying
the other one's turning
75
5.
months or something.
Yeah, the other one's turning 5 this
Yeah.
month. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's crazy.
I have, like I said, a 2-year-old. What's it been like being a parent of boys? Is it? I mean, you don't really have a comparison to.
I am a tomboy at nature, right?
Yeah.
I coach boy sports, and I mean, I shouldn't say that. That's not cool that I said that. Okay, well, I coach sports that are dominantly men.
Yeah.
Coached, right? Like all the other coaches for the most part. There's a
almost got
few
canceled
girls,
there.
Yeah,
and
almost.
rock on to all the girls who play these sports when they do lacrosse. They're badasses, but it's really dominantly led. We all know that,
Right.
But so it's cool. Like, I feel like that God was like, you definitely can't handle girls. I have stylists. My girls always say in my shops, they call us mom and dad because we're older than they are,
Yeah.
right? Like, we're staring down 40 and they're like in their young 20s and they're like, Ma, blah, 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 or Dad, this bro.
Young 20s.
Yeah, we have a great culture at ours. Everyone's love you after they leave for the day.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's all good love, but they joke all the time that I'm their, God didn't give me daughters because they gave me stylists.
Yeah.
Because again, it's really rare that we have a guy stylist, and that's
Yeah.
awesome when that happens, but it's not common. But I mean, we had 2 of them get married this fall, so we had to shut the salons down and get out there to their weddings. And I did makeup and hair for one of the weddings, and so I mean, I have daughters in a different kind of way.
Sure.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So what's it? I just got off a phone call with one of my friends who's like, I just want to own my own business and be an entrepreneur and own I'm sick of working for someone else. What's that been like for you, or for both of you, I should say?
Okay, so I have
Sure,
a
it's
hard
not
time.
all
I
rainbows
have a
and
hard time with
butterflies.
that because I hear that from a lot of stylists, right? Where they're like, "Ugh, I want to own my own business."
Yeah.
I'm like, you have no idea what the hell you're about to
Right,
bite off.
yeah.
I would not have chosen to do it this way. We opened with the intention of ourselves, and then it was like people started coming out of the woodwork. Jenna was the first one. That was my Elk River manager. She's like,
Shout out Jenna.
yeah, she's amazing. I love her. And but she was like, hey, could you hire me and also these other 2 people? And I'm like, sure. We better pray to God that I don't at that point I was like, it's all up to him because I had no idea how this was all going to keep happening. So then I had to do more tables, more tubs, more everything. And just, it all again fell into place. But
Sure,
yeah,
there's a
it's
lot
just-
of red tape that comes along with
It is. And so when people think that I get killed in taxes, man. I'm sweating every time. We just went through quarterly taxes, all that BS. And so that's my caution to them is, yeah, I get wanting to be your own boss.
Yeah.
But maybe you should just find an you need to evaluate, do you like the IRS? Do you like the state of Minnesota?
Does anybody?
Do you
no.
like dealing with get
Yes,
a damn
yes.
good accountant?
Yep.
Shout out to my accountant, Brad. I love you.
Shout out, Brad.
Brad, we love you. But and my bookkeeper, Linda, she's amazing. But that's actually BNI was really good. I did one of those BNIs.
Going to one tomorrow morning.
Yep.
Yeah, so BNI was great because I did that my first year, and it helped me understand who is available to help my business. And so like that was a huge education point. And I actually went to school for business administration too. And so it's so crazy, like seeing how God prepped all of this up to this point. But so I had that background, but too many times do I hear people ready to like be entrepreneurs, and I'm like, I almost feel like you don't choose to be an entrepreneur. Like it just chooses you.
in you.
And you see the need and you fill a need, and you're not focused on all the other stuff, and the other stuff kind of comes. Being a boss was not something I wanted to do again after my corporate job. I was burnt out on employees and just like taking care of other people, and my cup was really empty, and I felt like I need to just focus on healing myself and feeling like, how do I didn't want to lead people, like, and they just chose me again. And you just kind of go with the flow, like.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, it
Kinda,
is a
right?
blessing, and it's a
Yeah.
responsibility. It's a hell of a responsibility that people cannot take for granted and be selfish and be like, oh, I want all this money in myself. Well, entrepreneurs don't really make a lot of money by themselves.
Right.
Generally, you're serving other people who do that for you.
Yep.
Like I serve my employees. Those guys are my everything. And I have to serve them, their education. Like I'm pursuing my master's in grooming right now.
Oh,
so
wow.
yes,
Congrats.
thank you. It is
Yeah.
extremely difficult.
Yeah?
Holy hell is it hard.
A lot of time, I'm sure,
Yeah, like
too.
I had to do a private lesson with somebody from Groom Team USA right before I got here. And it's like, stuff that but you don't know. And it's just so hard. So I feel like people who usually say, I want to be my own boss, and generally are speaking from a selfish nature. And if you're going to lead a business, you can't be selfish.
You can't. Well,
Can't.
and like, I mean, me being a real estate agent,
Yeah.
basically my own business, my
That's
own
got to be
boss.
so different, though. I feel like
It
I don't
is
know.
different, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I'm a 21-year-old, freshly dropped out of college. How do I go
Yeah.
run my own business
Yeah.
now? And luckily, I'm on a team that I technically, I guess, have a boss in a way.
Yeah.
Where I get to see how he runs his business, where I can like grow.
But those are like the healthy outlets, right?
Yeah, it is so nice.
I treat so 1099 is not like a good thing here in Minnesota. It's
No,
not well
'cause that's
done.
what- that's
for
where I
us, because
am.
people are like,
I'm
hey,
lucky I'm
can you do
W2.
booth rentals and grooming? That's a huge question I usually get. Can you do booth rental? It does
What
not
is that,
work.
booth rentals?
It's like, a hairstylist, like they can have their own businesses and they
Oh,
share a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
salon,
yeah, yeah.
like Salons by JC and stuff. Like they can have their own businesses. That's essentially what grooming should be like if it's run like that. But, I don't know. I give them control over their own schedules and how often I have certain laid out expectations. And I feel like if you give your employees that level of independence, they flourish.
Yeah.
And that's really what the people who are wanting to open their own business, they want their own set of rules. And it's like, you can create that as an employer for them too, where they feel that capacity and you just lay out the rules. It's like be home at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
A little
know?
bit of independence.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to get an unruly kid.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Okay, so where do you see this going in 5 to 10 years? Like what you've established
Yes.
4 offices? Salons?
Salons.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Salons.
that's good.
Business is booming. Things
Yeah.
are good. You have 15 employees.
Yeah.
2 kids. You're coaching. You're doing all these things.
Yeah.
What's next? I guess.
So next
there
is
any-
mobile grooming.
What is it?
Mobile.
Mobile
Grooming.
like a van.
I will be launching mobile
That
grooming.
is
That's the next
sick.
baby step. And eventually I would like to do an indoor dog park.
That's genius.
We're stealing it.
Do you want me to?
You're not allowed
Do you want me to?
If you want to invest in me, let me know. Let me know.
you want me to bleep it?
No, maybe. I don't know.
I can bleep it, but that's actually genius.
But yes. So, so stuff like that. I want it to feel more like city, like around a park.
Yeah.
So, and then, there's a lot more than just going to a dog park. Like there's dog jumping. Have you guys ever seen Flyball?
No?
Okay.
Is that like,
I just went to Houston and saw Flyball. There's so much you can do with your pet beyond like agility. I think people
Yeah.
think of agility. There's scent training that they can go and find it and they get timed how fast they find it.
yeah.
The terriers can go after and find rats and bring you back the rats. And there's just such crazy stuff. Flyball is where there's a team of 4 people, 4 dogs, and then they have these hurdles and they have to retrieve the ball. So they run as fast as hell. You can see it on my TikTok. I put it on my last TikTok. They run as fast as they can. They grab that ball, they run back, put it in a bin, the next dog goes, and they just fly until they have the finish.
Yeah.
They have a referee and everything that runs this thing.
That's sick.
It's wild. And then dog jumping is just crazy.
I remember going
Such
to
a
the game fair.
Yeah.
And
What is
like,
that?
they would jump off the docks, and I remember being like
They're
7,
judged
8,
at like how high they're jumping, how long they're jumping.
Like, that was
It's just
the
wild.
shit.
It's
Like, I
cool.
loved that.
And
It
it
was
amps
so
you
cool.
up
It
because you're
does.
like, oh my gosh, I could do that with my dog. Dogs love a purpose, so I'm always for that. So hopefully 5 to 10 years, I'll be able to branch into that space and be able to have people have access to trainers that can help you learn how to do that with your pet. So it's not just walking your dog or.
Is there a book coming out? Mm-hmm. There is? Is that what you wrote it down?
At some point, I started it very briefly, but yeah, at some point. Yeah.
I missed a
My goal is to
question?
have it out by 40. We'll see. Alex knows I want to do it.
Oh.
A book.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the book about? About dog training?
No.
She's like, I love basketball, so unrelated to anything I do. Just
Yeah,
It's just random.
I do want to write a book. I started to, and I think I want to write it from female's perspective of being unique. There's a truth here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how much I'm ready to say it, but it's about how to be a female leader. Like, I have sucked as a manager, and I have been good as a manager, and owning is obviously its own. So I kind of want to walk people through, especially females, how we go from bitch to boss. And that's the premise of the book, is going from bitch to boss.
That's a good title.
And then how to be a true leader, because I've made a million mistakes in my life. And
It's all part of it, though.
It is. And there's things that you, like, I had one person that reached out. She didn't reach out. She actually, like, tried to get me disqualified at my first contest.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah, she was bitter. And I hadn't even spoke to her in 11 years. But, like, there must be something, I said. And so I sent her, like, a generic apology email. Like, I don't know why you would hate me that much.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of anything I could have said in a normal workplace setting.
envy or
Who knows? Like,
Yeah.
and anybody that wants to tear you down and be a troll, it's like, you know how much
something's going on
strength
with
it
them.
takes to get out on stage in front of hundreds of people and groom in front of them,
Yeah.
and then have your design picked apart in front of people. And I already have enough haters that, you know, are like, what the hell, you're putting color on dogs and blah, blah, blah. To then have somebody that's, like, in my industry, like, tearing me down too, it's not fun, but it's, you know, it makes me sad for them.
Yeah.
Because you're like, what's going on in your world that
That's
you
such
need
a,
to, like, go for somebody else's pedestal?
That's such a healthy perspective.
You know?
Because a lot of times you want to match their negativity, but
No,
instead
I'm not
kind
interested
of
in that. I'm
pity
above it,
or
yeah.
like, what is actually going on with this person?
Yeah, it makes me hurt for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, nobody should hold on to anger for 11 years. Good gravy. That's like that whole poison, you know, thing. Or,
Yeah.
you know, and hoping the other person
living in
dies.
their head
It's like,
rent-free.
dude, that sucks.
Jeez,
I'm sorry
yeah.
that you hurt like that.
Do you have any other burning questions? Otherwise, I was going to ask
The last question?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my question is basically that question, so ask that.
I had one and then I lost it because I was. Well, I guess before I ask that, where can people contact you? How can people get a hold of you?
Yes.
My favorite question.
Yeah.
How do we shout you out
No,
right
okay,
now?
to be fair, I do not take new dog clients unless
Okay.
they're color. You got color, bring me, I will transform your dog into another species. But otherwise, the other girls, I have the other 14, they're incredible. So you can reach out to me if you want to follow me and my work and my journey. I'm now posting that on Instagram and TikTok as petstylist_Holly. And then my business is Groom My Friend. So it's at Groom My Friend. And then there's at Groom My Friend Becker, at Groom My Friend Cat, and at Groom My Friend Elk River. Wow,
Okay.
that was a lot.
That was good.
That's a lot. yeah. But I would say reach out through social media. It's the fastest way to get a hold of us.
Oh, yeah.
So,
How do you want to be remembered when you're gone?
like dead?
Sure.
Like gone dead?
Gone. Dead.
How do
6
I want
feet
to be
under.
remembered?
Yeah.
I always want to be remembered as somebody who loves Jesus and God.
There you go.
And was God loving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
God
it.
serving.
Cool.
Yeah. Spreading that light.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's amazing.
Holly, Alex, I really appreciate you guys coming out.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah,
I'm glad you
seriously,
came.
this is awesome. This is
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we've had a lot of realtors and stuff on, and I was like, that sounds cool. We should have Holly on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Little something wonky, a little different.
No, it's great. I
It's
love
perfect though. That's what we
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
So
and four salons in 3 years. 2 years.
2 years.
that's outrageous.
That's 15 anyways.
I don't want any more brick and mortars.
It's inspiring. Oh, I know what I was going to
Unless
ask.
somebody bribe me. I'm bribable.
Yeah.
Got that?
Who you were talking about, writing a book about like being a
Bitch to
bad-
boss.
From bitch to boss.
Yep.
Bitch to
Who's
boss.
been your female role models that you've looked up to?
My mom?
Okay.
Pam. She's actually my stepmom, but my mom, Pam Payne.
Yeah.
Pam Payne. Definitely. Who else? Who else? Oh, how could I not say it? I'm a huge WWE fan.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
they just changed from the Bella twins to the Garcia twins, but Nikki and Brie Bella.
Okay.
Or Garcia now.
Okay.
So they have their own podcast I listen to, but yeah, they're incredible. They're around my age, and I just think they're just badass women.
Awesome.
And they're crazy entrepreneurs.
Yeah. That's good,
Crazy entrepreneurs. So I just think they're the best. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Cool. That's all we got. Subscribe, like, comment. Holly, Alex, thank you again for coming.
Thanks
Really
for coming.
appreciate it.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time.